We're here with Joey Airosa from Airosa Dairy, just south of Tulare here. Thanks for joining us here at World Ag Expo. And Joe, you've probably been to Expo a few times, haven't you?
Yep, I was probably here the first year it ever started. Our family, when it started at the fairgrounds, and we're just a young kid running around there trying to collect hats and look at the big tractors, and you know, it's a great tradition here in our town.
Yeah, no kidding. In your backyard, you have the world's largest agriculture exposition. That says something, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty neat, and it was founded by a group of people that were, you know, farmers, but had a vision. And I think with the help of the community and all the volunteer help that has put their arms around this event, it just continues to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Well, you know, you're here in California, Central California. You raised a dairy farmer, and you've got an operation now. You actually got a pretty big sale coming up on Thursday afternoon, right? Is that right?
Yeah, we're going to sell about 120 animals, 20 jerseys, and 100 Holsteins out at our farm in Pixley. We had a sale here on the farm show site 3 years ago. We celebrated our family's 100th anniversary, and so it took us 3 years to recuperate, and we're going to do it again.
A lot of challenges as a dairy producer, and the big story we always hear is water, or lack thereof, here in California. How do you deal with the fact that you're always, it seems like, in a drought and don't have any water?
Well, you know, water in perspective, it makes all our dairy problems look like an ant, basically. You know, water, if you don't have water, nothing else can happen. And I think California, we're going on our 4th year of a real terrible drought. But it's really not just, you know, the drought is not just from lack of rain. It's from lack of water management here in California. We have a system that was built in the 60s when there was about 16 to 18 million people here. And, you know, we've got 38 million people here, and you know, this valley is a pretty amazing place. You know, when you consider if you have enough water and the right kind of system to bring water into this valley, you can grow food here 365 days a year. There's hundreds of different kinds of crops that are grown here, and you know, recently I had the opportunity to judge dairy shows in South Korea and Italy, and California agriculture is recognized around the world for high quality products, but the diversity of products that come out of California. And I think sometimes, you know, we forget about not just the people in our country that count on what we grow here, but also the world.
Yeah, and when we hear that it's raining in California, we say, oh boy, they need it, but it actually doesn't really help because, like you said, it's a system from back in the 60s that really doesn't catch that rainwater. You need it from the mountains, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, we get average rainfall and above average snowfall up in the Sierras, and then through the summer the snow melts and it fills up our reservoirs, and then it provides surface water to all the places in the valley that grow crops. And the surface water also, not only does it grow crops, but it also recharges the groundwater basins too.
You're president of the local Farm Bureau, Tulare Farm Bureau, and of course water's the big issue that you talk about probably at your meetings.
Yeah, water's become the issue that is overpowering everything else. It's you know, without water, you really can't do much else. And you know, one of the things here in the valley, we have a lot of small communities that are really the ag support system. They're the people that work on our farms, run the processing plants. And I think there's very few people that live here between Sacramento and Bakersfield that can't say that they're not connected to agriculture in one way or the other. And so we're really all joined at the hip. We need each other, but we need the water to you know, that's the lifeblood here in the valley. And you know, this past year, to give you an example, we had near Porterville, we had over 500 people that lost wells and were out of water up there, you know, residences. So it's a serious problem. And you know, it's something that unfortunately, as I said earlier, it's not just a drought or lack of rain. There's a lot of politics involved, and what it boils down to is, I think people have taken for granted where their food comes from. A lot of people think that it comes from the store, and they don't realize that you know, it's right here, 2 hours away from San Francisco or LA. This is where a big portion of the food is grown. And one of the things that is interesting is that this San Joaquin Valley is a very unique place on the planet. It is one of the few places that can grow the diversity of crops that we grow here because of the kind of weather we have. And so, you know, I think it's taken for granted sometimes.
Oh, sure. And outside of a public campaign or dealing with the politicians, I mean, what's the answer? Where are we heading with this?
Yeah, well, that's what makes it frustrating, is because really the only hope right now is that God can help us out, because the politicians, we know that's going to be a long-term deal. And one of the things that I think is interesting is that recently when I was in South Korea, I had you know, they import a lot of our products over there, whether it be almonds, dairy products, cheeses, and one of the things that was interesting is how appreciative they were of the products that they're able to get from our state. And you know, I think that, you know, through agriculture, and not just in California, but in this whole country of ours, we can really help keep peace throughout the world by making sure that people have food, and that people in other countries that aren't as fortunate as us to have an agricultural economy like we have in this country to grow our own food, we can support them people and you know, create some peace. And I mean, if you think about it, if you wake up in the morning and you can't feed your family, you're probably not going to be a very happy and peaceful person.
That's something to think about, and that's where the farmer comes in as well, definitely.
Yeah.
We need to have that emphasis of, you know, I don't need to worry about where my food comes from because I get it at the supermarket, and that's just not the attitude to have anymore. So.
Well, and the other thing that happens too is there's, you know, I did an interview a couple of weeks ago with an editor from the LA Times, and she made a comment that maybe we shouldn't be wasting our water on growing almonds and other crops that we're just going to export a portion of them. What they don't understand is that really God dictates how much yield we have from year to year. So I think we're way better off. The consumers in this country are way better off to have abundance than not enough.
Well said. It's Joey Airosa from Airosa Dairy, and good luck with your sale on Thursday.
All right, thank you.